Tank got business to deal with Lamont. Ain't no telling he gonna actually win that one, man. That's a great fight too.
I almost want Roach to win because you got somebody willing to go up weight classes. You know, because if Roach beats Tank, that means he's just better than Tank.
Despite all the controversy, experts are weighing in on Gervonta Tank Davis's chances in a high-stakes rematch with Lamont Roach. Meanwhile, Sean Porter has made it clear he is not ready to let this matchup fade away quietly. He insists the clash between Tank and Lamont Roach is far from settled and believes the ring still demands a decisive conclusion. According to Sean, this fight is unfinished business that waits for the moment both men step back through the ropes to settle it once and for all.
Tank got business to deal with Lamont. Ain't no telling he gonna actually win that one, man. That's a great fight too. A 47-pound punch on your arms and your shoulders. That's a little bit different, you know. But outside of that, yeah, we still want that Tank Davis fight. I'm ready for that one. Who wins? It's a great fight, man. Tactically, I absolutely love that fight.
While he stopped short of naming a clear favorite, Porter suggested that Tank Davis would charge into the rematch with aggressive intent, pushing the action from the opening bell and forcing Roach into heated exchanges. However, Porter hinted that this same approach could backfire if Davis failed to stay disciplined.
I think, yeah, exactly. I think Tank might try to start off earlier and probably even force some things, and it might work against him. You know?
Leave himself open.
Yeah.
But Porter pointed to complacency as the real culprit behind Davis losing the first fight, arguing that overconfidence dulled Tank's usual sharpness and left the door open for Roach to take advantage.
Well, like I said, he should have started this fight. You should have did that in this one and put the heat on this kid and not allow this kid to get comfortable. You can see that he got comfortable. He was able to wear the punches much better later in the fight when Tank really started to kind of unload and gave some return as well. And a couple of times, oh, he buzzed Tank. I'm like, relax, relax.
However, after Lamont Roach made it clear he wants the winner of Devin Haney versus Brian Norman next, Showbiz the Adult openly rooted for Roach to pull off the win, praising him for having the guts to jump between weight classes. According to Showbiz, if Roach manages to beat Tank Davis, it is not about excuses, but about Roach simply being the better fighter. He pointed out that Roach played the system perfectly, dropping down to 130, taking his lumps, then moving up to 147, where no rehydration clause could limit him.
After I beat Tank, I'm fighting the winner of Devin Haney and Brian Norman.
Now, I almost want Roach to win because you got somebody willing to go up weight classes. You know, because if Roach beats Tank, that means he's just better than Tank. And in that case, you kind of want to see. That's one. Number two, if Roach can fight at 147 and he's sitting on that couch looking like me right now, then Tank was too small for Roach. In that case, that was a great trick. He went down to 130. This man got his whipped by Jamel Herring. Went up to where it's like there's no rehydration clause because you're coming up, but he's actually at 147.
In addition, Gary Antoine Russell did not shy away from addressing the controversy swirling around the recent arrest that threatened to overshadow the fight buildup. He argued that personal setbacks should not be used to define a fighter's worth inside the ring, reminding fans that boxers have a life beyond the bright lights and brutal rounds. Russell admitted there is always a chance a fight might collapse under such circumstances, but focused instead on moving forward.
I don't know. Allegedly, it could have tarnished it, you know, but people got life outside of this profession. You know, this doesn't define who you are, you know, and shit happens. Fights fall through, fights don't always happen. But I hope we get a better life.
Interestingly, Antoine Russell stated that he heard rumors swirling that the Tank Davis fight might never materialize. He made it clear that if that showdown falls through for good, Lamont Roach would be the perfect target for Gary Russell Jr. instead.
I've heard that the Lamont Roach fight wasn't going through. Lamont Roach would be a perfect fight for my brother. It's a video out there now. Lamont Roach is talking about fighting me, and I'm like, you gonna jump up and wait to fight me? I'm not even focused on people that's not in my division, for one. But two, I'm trying to wipe out my division. I'm trying to unify immediately. Let's get the best fighting the best. You know, you got to get through this opponent first. He get through this opponent, I feel like he will have another opponent that will line him up for probably another title shot. you know, because he's looking to showcase his talent.
However, Gary Russell sent Tank Davis well wishes and turned his attention to Lamont Roach, urging him to stay sharp in the gym, hold his form, and watch his words online now that the spotlight of sudden fame is burning brighter than ever.
I hope we get a better life, man, and great wishes to Tank Roach. Stay in the gym, man, and watch what you say on the mat.
Adding to Tank's controversy over and arrest of Rolly Romero, weighed in with a pointed take on the situation, stating that he's never supported a man putting hands on a woman, but refused to blindly accept the headlines either. He pushed back against the rush to judgment, pointing out that there have been plenty of instances where women have twisted the truth. He states that it's a little hard to believe the news, especially since Gervonta has been trying to turn his life around.
I don't support men hitting women in any way or any of that stuff, but at the end of it, we don't know both sides of the story. We don't know. I mean, you know, women say whatever and all this stuff, you know. So, I don't know. I do genuinely do. I will tell you this, though. From looking at how Gervonta's been recently, I could tell he's been trying to become a better man. So, we just have to see both sides of the story.
Reflecting on the first fight, Keith Thurman did not hold back on his criticism of Lamont Roach's approach, taking issue with how Roach allowed Tank to build momentum and build his pace, giving him exactly the window he needed.
Let's get back to the fight, the Roach Tank fight. You know what I didn't like? I didn't like Roach letting Tank start so slow like that, you know? Well, let me put it like this. Tank is gonna be slow like that, right? This is Tank. Tank moves, you know? Tanks move slowly.
Adding to that, he believes Roach failed to capitalize on this weakness, holding back instead of letting his hands go. Keith stated that it was very apparent that both fighters had been training partners in the past.
Tank is notorious for his slow start and strong finishes, right? That's what he's known for. He's kind of like a fight night fighter. Anybody who knows fight night, let's go, baby. You know what I'm talking about right now, okay? He's kind of a fight night fighter where he lets his energy carry into the later rounds where he tries to be dominant in the second half of the fight. What I didn't like is that Roach catered to that style, okay? He didn't apply enough pressure. He didn't let his hands go. They kind of had a beauty contest going on, just intimidating one another, this and that. I can tell, I don't know if you can tell in the fight, I can tell that they've been sparring partners.
Moreover, Keith Thurman made it clear he saw plenty of missed opportunities in that first showdown, but in the end, he was content to settle for the draw. In his eyes, the deadlock was the only fitting outcome because neither Lamont Roach nor Tank Davis did enough to deserve a clear win.
Tank, you know, Tank had some moments too, but when it comes off so much like a sparring match like that, man, just go ahead and just slap the draw on it, bro. Just slap the draw on it, bro. And then once y'all boys really want to fight, then somebody can win, bro. You know, like just put it out there. Put your heart and put your soul out there, man. Do something on the battlefield, you know. There wasn't enough done, and I'll just take the draw because I'm making a draw by default. Neither one of y'all deserve to win. I ain't even counting punches no more. Y'all didn't do nothing.
In addition, Gary Russell Jr. stirred the pot even further by calling out Lamont Roach directly, making it clear he is ready to step in if the Tank Davis rematch keeps dragging its feet.
Since I've been back in the ring, at this point now, I want the La Cucaracha. I want the La Cucaracha, man. I want Lamont Roach.
Ooh.
I want Lamont Roach.
Oh, I thought you said you wanted to do the cucaracha.
No, the La Cucaracha. Relatively soon. If Roach want to fight me, we can make that happen real soon.
Lamont Roach, Tank Davis.
An all-out DMV area fight.
There you go. Let's see who the best in the area is, and then we can broaden our horizon from there.
He threw down the challenge with the promise that if Roach accepts, he will not waste any time getting back into the ring.
You know, I call out who I wanted. You know what I'm saying? I wanted Tank. I want Roach. Anybody else that fall outside of that, that's cool. They can get it too. I ain't really tripping. You know, so it's not anyone particular that I say I want to fight other than the La Cucaracha and Gervonta Tank Davis. If anything else fall in line outside of that, then cool, I'll welcome it.
Realistically speaking, I can go walk this boy ass down Saturday night and me and Roach can get busy. Me and Roach can get busy on the next thing smoking. What you got to say about that? You still gonna mention my little brother that ain't thinking about you, my boy? Who gave you that idea? Your father? Stop this shit, man.
Hey,
Stop this shit, man.
Hey, now,
Stop this shit, man. Be a real man, shawty. Would you say I say shawty all the time? Be a real man, shawty. Stop this shit, man.
Furthermore, Nasheed Sugar Sheet Smith, who has worked closely with Sean Porter's camp and knows both Tank Davis and Lamont Roach firsthand from training and sparring sessions, expects the rematch to deliver far more intensity than their first encounter.
Tank, as a person that is up there, the #1 cash cow in my opinion, what better way to learn than through him?
Yeah.
And he's done a lot of teaching in that way. Like bigger than Tank, but Tank is like a big bro to me too. Whenever I ask him anything, he's always willing to tell me. We have conversations and we talk about the game of boxing, how to get through it and be able to still mentally be there and want to, continue boxing. Like the game, it really, when it comes to the professional ranks, it becomes less of a game and more about business.
But he sees both fighters digging deeper and pushing themselves harder this time around, convinced that their performance could even put them in the running for Fighter of the Year honors. Smith sees nothing but fireworks when they meet again, and has made no secret of his excitement for the chaos that is bound to erupt.
It's definitely gonna be really intense. I feel like they both gonna be going harder than they did in the first fight. And the first fight was intense. The first fight was crazy. So I know the second fight, I know they both gonna be Fighter of the Year contenders. Yeah. I can say that, and it's gonna be a great fight between both. I can't wait to watch. Hopefully, I get on that card. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's gonna be a great fight. I can't wait to see it.
Sharing his perspective on Tank Davis's personality away from the spotlight, Nasheed Smith pushed back against the image many in the fight world have come to expect. According to Smith, Tank is far from the reckless figure often painted by critics, and instead plays a vital role in guiding young fighters behind the scenes.
Tank has, of course, with my coach and all that, Tank has put us in training camps with him out to Florida. You know what I mean? Like, with no problem. So, it's not that Tank is this big bad bully or nothing like that. That's business. And in that ring, that's how you're supposed to be. Mm-hmm. But outside the ring, I've never had no problem with Tank. We've always talked. And it's been cool, it's been chill.
On the other hand, Keith Thurman argued that if both Lamont Roach and Tank Davis can truly lock in, drop their caution, and unleash their full arsenal, the rematch could turn into something special. He believes boxing rarely delivers elite matchups where both fighters push themselves to the edge and produce a performance that lives up to the hype.
So it was good. It was good. But if those boys dial in, and if they let it go, it could be great. It could be great. We don't get a lot of elite fights like that, and then have that great performance like back in the day. Hagler Hearns and what I mean, when it's going toe to toe, and someone's going to be the dominant force tonight.
Additionally, Coach Breadman did not hide his frustration over the lingering silence surrounding the Tank Davis and Lamont Roach rematch. For him, the fact that the bout still has no official green light is disappointing. He sees Roach as the toughest challenge Tank has ever faced and believes the rematch is the only real way to measure where Tank's confidence and skills stand today.
You know what I mean? The Lamont Roach rematch not happening is kind of disappointing. The guy give you your toughest fight and get you a draw.
Breadman is not pointing fingers at anyone for the delay, but admits he held Davis to such a high standard that watching him step back into the ring with Roach was the true test he wanted to see play out.
I don't know whose fault it was, but I wanted to see. I rate Tank so highly as a fighter, and I think so highly of him. I think we watching a great fighter, and I think so highly of him. I wanted to see how he responded to that and see if he could go out. And you know how like a guy give you a tough night and then you say, okay, I'll run it back and I'm gonna take care of business. I wanted to see if he was gonna be able to do that and see what level he is at. But if you ask my honest opinion, I think Tank could stop Manny. I do.
Meanwhile, Nasheed Smith recalled how Tank Davis would relentlessly trash talk during training camps and sparring sessions, using every moment to burrow into an opponent's head before the real fight even began. He believes this mind game is part of the brutal reality of boxing, where every fighter is searching for any edge to gain an advantage over the competition. In his view, Tank's psychological warfare is just another tool in a ruthless sport sport where staying one step ahead often starts long before the opening bell.
Yeah, we talking trash for sure. We definitely talking trash because at the end of the day, I'm trying to be better than him. And he, the champ, he still got to defend what he needed to defend, but I'm trying to get up there. I'm trying to be better than what he is. And the thing about it is, the thing about this gym, we don't get complacent with allowing one person to just be first or allowing one person to be second. If one person go here, they're gonna bring somebody here, and then that person gonna go here, and then you just keep going, and that's how we keep getting better and better.
In contrast, Paulie Malignaggi, when assessing Gervonta Tank Davis, claimed that Tank had the raw talent but his physical attributes, but pointed out that Tank's biggest gap lies in his mental toughness. In Malignaggi's view, it is not the speed, power, or skill that could cost Davis in the long run, but rather the question mark hanging over his mindset.
You built this, you manufactured this kind of star. Because again, I'm gonna go back to what you were saying, Jimmy, because I lost my train of thought there. Talent, physical speed, power, all the goods is there. When you look at it, it's like all the goods are there. But then mentally, he comes up short. He comes up short mentally. And it's like, so now you're like, looking at it, you're like, man, all the rumors are true. Dude, this guy, he doesn't, you know, I said Keith Thurman, he still got it. This guy doesn't got it. This guy, the opposition exists, but they constantly steer him the other way. So now you have to start, a logical person thinks, all right, maybe he is missing something. Because
Isak Cruz, he had to find a way to win.
Pushing his point even further, Paulie Malignaggi argued that Lamont Roach needs to approach the rematch with the same mindset that rattled Tank Davis the first time around. He believes Roach exploited Tank's fragile mental armor once and could do it again if he stays relentless. He advised Lamont to be mindful of making small changes and minor adjustments, but emphasized that Roach needs to be more or less the same.
He didn't breathe his name. Even when they brought up Lomachenko, he made sure not to even acknowledge it. God forbid it would pick up steam and momentum and people would demand to fight him. Then Lomachenko turns 36, 37 on the verge of retirement and he starts tweeting about him. No, bro. When you're a cherry picker, the problem when you're a cherry picker is you become a professional cherry picker. You know how to do it. You know how to do it with style. And that's what he did. He never even breathed Lomachenko's name. Then he sees him against Kambosos at 36, 37 years old and he tweets about him. Lomachenko was in and around his weight at 130 when Lomachenko was dismantling people, making people quit at 130. You think he mentioned his name? You think he tweeted about him? Hell no. Hell no. And then when you look at the resume, because now
he wasn't ready.
He was a world champion.
So? Wasn't ready.
And when you look, okay, there's one thing about not being ready, it's one thing to cherry pick opponent.
Furthermore, Chris Algieri weighed in with his take on Lamont Roach's approach, describing it as a style locked in stone and perfected over time. In Algieri's view, Roach at his best is the same stubborn technician every time he steps through the rope.
Physically, there's a lot he's capable
You
of.
see it mentally. Yes. Is that harder to deal with?
I believe so, because physically, Gervonta has all the goods. That's why he's sold as the product he sold at. You look at Gervonta physically, speed, athleticism, power, timing,
ability to change direction.
If this guy has balls, he's really a pound-for-pound fighter that everybody claims he is.
However, Algieri pointed out that Gervonta Davis brings far more versatility to the table. In his eyes, Tank can switch up style, adapt on the fly, and when he lands clean, he has the kind of power that changes a fight in an instant.
I don't know that he's even a pound-for-pound fighter. I don't even know that he would be a lightweight champion if they didn't mix and match his opponents accordingly. You know what I'm saying? He probably shouldn't even be a lightweight champion now because Lamont Roach beat him the other week.
Chris sees Tank as a fighter with plenty of tricks still hidden, while Roach is more likely to stick to the blueprint that worked in the first fight. For Algieri, the real question is whether Tank's team can figure out how to keep their man comfortable under Roach's relentless pressure.
I got a great saying. So you always say if my aunt had balls, she'd be my uncle.
Yeah.
If Gervonta had balls, he'd be pound for pound.
Pound for pound.
Is that what you're saying?
Maybe not king, but
I'm not saying.
I would agree.
Listen, I'm not saying he doesn't have balls.
I've seen lists.
He's saying that. I'm not saying that.
I've seen lists prior to the Lamont Roach fight where people had him like 4 or 5 on the pound for pound list, which I thought was blasphemy. I thought it was laughable. But honestly, if this guy had balls,
I did. I had him top 5.
Are you out of your mind?
I had him in number 5.
Are you out of your mind? Doing what?
He was consistently KO. That Frank Martin fight was very impressive.
Chris, you're talking to me and I'm talking to you, guys who had tough goes at it as far as the opposition we had to fight, okay? Yeah. On Tank's resume, we'd all be undefeated, okay? On Tank's resume, we would all be undefeated.
So to your point they made earlier, like the fact that Tank is getting flamed after his performance against Lamont Roach. And
he wouldn't be getting flamed if the struggle was against Shakur Stevens.
In the end, as the noise swirls around arrests, rumors, mind games, and bold predictions, one thing remains certain. The story of Lamont Roach versus Gervonta Tank Davis is far from over. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you never miss a beat. And we will see you in the next video with more exciting updates.